fixed some decoding issues, and most importantly, we started getting back an array of pods instead of just a single pod. Today, we're going to add some views, primarily one that will display a list, that array in a list form, and then if the user taps one of those items, it'll take us to our existing content view here. There's some kind of bug with this version of Xcode. Normally, I would rename this file, but it won't let me do that. So I think what we'll do is we'll just make a views folder. Let's copy everything from this file. We'll make a new file, Swift file. We'll name it PodDetailView. And we'll make certain that it's added to our SpacePod target. I'm going to select all that and replace it with our content view. And then I'm going to rename it to PodDetailView. We'll make a change there. And then we'll go back to our, one more change. And we'll go back to our existing content view. And we'll select everything inside our content view, and we'll just show PodDetailView. Oops. Let's select everything inside of body. There, that makes more sense, and then we see that we can still compile. I may see off camera, I'll try to fix that where we don't have to have this additional file. So now we have this detail view. We see the preview works here as well. Let's add a new file. And let's name it PodListView with no space. And let's get rid of all of that. Oop. And we'll import SwiftUI. And we'll see if we can get the autocomplete to do this like we need it. PodListView, sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. If I type body, there we go. We get a little help. And let's just make it as simple as possible right now. We'll have it have state, an array of pods, and we'll initialize that. Once again, I'm getting out of order. That's fine though. We want that outside the body. And we'll just put some text here. Pods count description for now. So we're in a situation, hopefully, where it compiles. Yes. Okay. Sometimes you'll get that where it kind of flashes the error from the last issue. There's actually let's see if I can get that to work. I can never get that to. Normally, there's like an add preview. Honestly, I'm just not sure what you do to get that to work. I've had it work a few times. Sure would be nice. Anybody knows, give me a shout. And what we'll do for our preview is we want to load from file, so we're not having to hit the network every time. So get pods. We have a file with two pods in an array. And then so we have our data, and then we're going to make our preview of PodListView. We'll pass it an array of pods, and we're going to force unwrap, so you don't have to worry about it being optional. Let's see. I'm not getting a preview. Let's see if I can get a canvas in a second here. There we go. I had to close it and then add it back. I'm going to reduce the size a little bit. You can see we get a count of 2, which is what we wanted to see. So let's actually start showing our data. We'll need a list. Actually, yeah, let's make a list. I think I'm going to go ahead and make the navigation links as I go. So just add the navigation view now, and we'll add a list. And we will say for each of our pods, we'll identify them by self. We're going to change what autocomplete suggestion was just a little bit. And for each pod, we'll create a navigation link with a destination and a label. And our destination is our PodDetailView, which is our original view. And I think we'll do the same thing here. And we'll say text pod title. Okay, and we see we're getting some data. Instead of running our preview, let's see if we can, actually let's run it real quick. We'll see what it does. Okay, cool, it works in the preview. Let's go back into our content view. Yeah, and let's have it show PodListView instead. And we'll run our app in the simulator this time. And we get nothing. That's okay. We need to add a few more things. So on our list, right now it's loading up. If it's in a preview, we're passing an array of pods. But if we're running in the app right now, we're just getting an empty array. So it didn't crash. That's nice. But we want a little more functionality than that. Let's set the title. If pods is empty, let's set the title to fetching pods. And then we'll set it to the name of the app. I'm going to go ahead and close the canvas just so we have some more room. And then we'll add a task. If pods is empty, await, and we could put it in line here, but I think what I'll do real fast is we'll come down here. Let's make a private function called getPods. We'll mark it async. We'll say if let response equals await, get our pods. Let's set our pods here to response. That part should build, and then we can say get pods, and we'll try running again. And we see that it says fetching pods, and then when we get some pods, it does indeed show a list of the 20 pods that it grabbed. And we're checking to see if it's empty so we don't, like if we go into one and come back, it doesn't refetch the pods. While we're at it, let's make it so that we can fetch pods if we pull down on the list. So pull the refresh. Let's try that. Okay, that's a good start, I think. So we learned a couple of things here, or we covered a lot of ground really. We went ahead and renamed our existing view to something more reasonable. Everything is still loaded up in this content view. I may, off camera, try to fix that. I was just getting an issue where Xcode would never see it if I renamed the file. And then we're displaying that list here. And the reason we have this navigation view, it gives us a couple of features. This title. It also gives us navigation link capabilities. We could, without that navigation view, we could maybe say have a sheet pop up, which maybe we'll change to that at some point. But just like if you're adding a navigation link and they're not working, they're deactivated, it may be that you don't have a navigation view. And then we're loading. On the first load, if it's an empty array, we go ahead and get our pods, or if the user pulls down, we'll get the pods again.